Today we're going to go in depth into a tutorial on how I request feedback from my manager and how I track my progress at work. This helps me fight off my imposter syndrome when things start to slow down or I feel like I'm not doing a good job. It helps me go back and track all the things that I've done throughout the year or the quarter and look at how well I'm doing. It also allows me to have more direct and concise feedback from my manager on the things that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm a high achiever at work, which means I really like to know what I'm doing right and where I could be improving on things. But a lot of times I get feedback from my managers that's very muddled or polite and won't be as direct as I need it to understand it. We go through this form on a weekly basis and discuss what's currently on my plate for projects so that they can see what I'm managing and if they can add anything new or need to take something off. I laid out my entire job description so I can see what the actual expectations from me are and how well I'm doing in those, and where there's places for me to have growth opportunities and new things to potentially be considered for promotion in the next cycle. As you can see, this is my job description laid out. I made a category of the responsibility, the full description, and then I will also put a description of what this means to me or how it relates to the things that I'm doing. I put a status for each of these that I asked my manager to go in and set how well I'm doing in each of the categories. And then there's also a space for what I could do to improve in these so that she can leave clear and direct feedback and I know this is what I need to be doing. And that's where we discuss things on a weekly basis. The next tab is for my achievements. Remember how I said imposter syndrome? This is the thing that helps me once I start dipping down into that because it kind of happens in cycles. This is super helpful to have on hand either when I don't feel like I'm doing good enough at my job or I feel like I haven't contributed anything new in a while. I feel like this has a lot to do with my object permanence, where if I'm not actively doing a bunch of things or a project has ended and I haven't picked a new one up recently, I kind of feel like my job is in a lull and I'm not valuable enough to my team. So this is something that not only helps me when I'm looking for a promotion and going through reviews, but just in general to help me remember the things that I've contributed to my team this year. There's also a section on here for continuous improvement. This is something that me and my manager can work together towards to understand what videos or trainings I could take to help improve the skills that I need. I'm fortunate to have a collaborative environment with my manager to be able to work towards promotion and understand where I'm going in my career. But this is also something that you have to take ownership of for yourself. When we're talking about accommodations in the workplace or things that you need for your disability or the way your brain works, it's something that I've learned I have to be the one to request those things and know what I need to be able to ask for it for myself. This document is one of those things. I highly recommend taking ownership and control over the things that you do for your career and present things like this to your manager that show that you're really being proactive and taking charge. If you're waiting for somebody else to tell you where you're going to go in your career, you're not really going to get anywhere that you want to go. This is actually something I learned before I discovered I was autistic. Understanding the direct communication I needed from my managers so that I could perform well in my job is an accommodation. Prompting people with the questions that you know you're going to need is so helpful. Just looking at this page right here is a great example where there is a column of what should I get from this. This is important because it really details what I need to be grasping from this, and there isn't a gray area of, oh, watch this course, and then I have to assume what I should be getting from it. This also allows for leadership to say it in a way that is direct